Hey guys.
Hey everyone.
Hey,
Hey, big welcome to everyone joining us today for Growth Lab. Shout out to our in-house producer for putting that little intro video together. Just put me in a really good mood. I hope everyone's having a great Thursday and listening to some jazz music.
Definitely.
Yeah, so really, we're back with another Growth Lab. My name is Eric from Shopify, and today we have two lovely guests returning to us, Jack Paxton and Jennifer Malka from Top Growth Marketing. Welcome, you guys.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you having us again.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm surprised you invited us back.
I'm just as surprised as you are, Jack. Um, no, honestly, it is just an honor and a privilege to have you both here today. So thank you so much. Yeah, if you are new here, welcome for your first times. Tell us where you're coming from. We have a couple people in the chat already. We have folks coming in from, I see Los Angeles. I see Moreno Valley. Hi, Bobby. We have Camila from New Zealand. Hello, hello. Another person from New Zealand, Stefano. Great to have you all. We have people from all over the world. It's always great. I see you from the UK. Hello, hello. While we're having folks trickle in, yeah, I had a couple icebreaker questions for you both, just to get to know you a little bit better. Actually, I just had one. Really, this one was an interesting one. It came across my desk the other day. But if you had to eat one food for an eating contest, what food would that be?
Pizza.
Pizza. You're gonna eat like this is like a hot dog eating
Easily.
contest, and you're just gonna do pizza. Okay, all right,
Easily.
Wow.
easily.
Was it
Sounds
like
a lot.
cotton candy or something? Like something that's light and airy?
Yeah, you could do that. I was gonna say like white rice. I really like white rice. You know,
Like,
and I could eat
are
that
we trying
forever.
to
I don't
win,
know.
or are we just trying to eat what we like?
That's good. Maybe you could have a food for each. Like trying to win and eat. Yeah, trying to win. I'm eating like grains of rice. Trying to
Yeah,
eat what I
yeah.
like. Probably like I don't know, like pasta or something.
Some
I'd
tacos.
still go for pizza.
Still pizza.
Pizza
Pizza
and
is
pizza.
answer for both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza
Oh,
for
yeah.
both for you, Jack.
Pizza
Oh, yeah.
is filling. Okay, so if I was trying to win, I'd probably want to go with something super light, like maybe like a lettuce. And then if I was actually eating to
Just
enjoy
one
it,
lettuce.
if
That's
I
fantastic.
was eating to enjoy, I don't know. I probably have to do El Pastor tacos. Love those things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I might need to change my answer now. I also saw someone else put tacos in the chat. But yeah, that might be just right. I love El Pastor tacos.
I would prefer to just eat the tacos, not the lettuce too.
Yeah. If you ever have a lettuce eating contest, please invite me. I feel like that would be a very strange sight.
Yeah, you and all the rabbits in the US.
For sure. Cool. We still have a couple more folks trickling in before we get started. Yeah, I guess a couple just like quick housekeeping notes. This is a masterclass series. So this is for intermediate to advanced level folks using Shopify. But if you are a beginner, welcome anyway. We'd love to have you. Yeah, and then if you have questions, there will be a Q&A section as well as a site teardown at the end of this, as I believe. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. We'll hope to get to as many as we can throughout. If you are running into audio issues, there's usually a little reconnect button that appears at the top of your screen. Go ahead and hit that. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and hit refresh. That should fix anything that you have. Upcoming for Growth Labs, we have this Tuesday, or this coming Tuesday, a Facebook, Instagram ads masterclass series starting with Cornerlight Digital. They're going to start on the 23rd. They're going to have their second session on the 1st of April, and then their third on the 15th of April. So mark your calendars for that. You're not going to want to miss it. A 3-part series. Never been done before. Actually, it has, but whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the housekeeping. Don't forget, you can also join us on Facebook and on Slack. So with that, I will get out of your hair. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Jack and Jen. I'm so stoked, and I will leave it up to you. See you later.
Nice. Thanks, Eric. First off, let me just make sure you guys can all see my screen. give us a yes. And the other thing I want to go over is, first up, there was a beginner session. So that will be in the, I think, Growth Labs library somewhere. So this is kind of like that part 2, and it's going to be the more advanced section, which I'll go over in a second. And then the other thing I really want to know is what your #1 pain point is with trying to grow your business with Facebook and Instagram. So this is going to really give you some food for thought, and make sure that you're asking us those questions, or how you overcome some issues or problems that you might be having. Definitely add those in. We'll probably pause for I put some frequently asked questions that I usually get when we're working with brands. Some of the frequently asked questions we get with those guys. And then on that session, I'll get Jem to jump in and answer all your guys' questions too. So just starting off, if you didn't take a look at the bio or anything, Jen and I work for Top Growth Marketing ad agency, and the reason why we sort of do these sessions is just because we have a lot of experience spending a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram. Over the past 8+ years, spent over $200 million profitably on the platforms, and started multiple businesses around growing mostly e-commerce brands. So this is kind of like a breakdown of what was in that first session, and then this is what we're going to be going over today. So just to give you a little intro to sort of what we're going to be looking at, it's really understanding the entire funnel that your customer goes through when they're looking to find your product, discover more about it, and then finally decide to buy your product. So we'll talk about the different stages of that funnel, how you engage with customers at each of those stages, how we usually scale accounts. So that's really growing what we call the top of the funnel. So we'll go through that. And then we'll go into some more detailed tactics, such as dark posting and social validation. Also, how we're scaling with data and using the tools that Facebook has. We're going to be covering all free tools in this, so everybody can do it. And then, of course, there's some paid tools that you can use as well. But we'll mostly be sticking to the free tools, so you guys can all copy all of these strategies. And then at the end, we'll kind of go over some checklists of what we usually suggest when people are running their ad accounts, sort of what they should do when they're looking at their ads, looking at their total ad creation, looking at the full picture and the full brand revenue growth month over month. So it's going to be a huge amount of info for you guys. So definitely take notes, definitely ask questions, and we want to make this collaborative. So some back and forth questions would be great. I've got your questions coming up on a screen over here. So if I miss some of them, Jen's going to be helping me out to make sure that we answer all those questions.
Let's be real, I'll probably answer most questions because I'm great. And
Jen will answer most questions.
Yes, that's true. And then also, Jack, just I'm looking at the polls here. It says, what's your experience between the spends on ads? And majority, 66% has said under 5K, and only 10% has said over 50K. So it's interesting to see where they are in the ad spends.
That's a big range, 5,000 straight up to 50,000. Okay, so we'll tailor some of this content, and I'll kind of break it down into people who are looking to get past that 5K a month, people who are looking to get to 10, 20, or 30K a month. Obviously, all of this is profitable because we don't run unprofitable ads. Now, diving into the content here. So starting out, what's a really good idea is to visualize your company with the top of the funnel and bottom of the funnel. Now, this is the most basic concept to really understand what the difference in that type of customer engagement point is. So at the top of the funnel, these are the people who are not aware of your brand. They have no idea who you are. And your #1 goal is to get that first touch point, engage them, entertain them, educate them. Some way you need to be of value to that person scrolling through Facebook or Instagram at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So that's top of the funnel, is capturing the attention. The bottom of the funnel is converting that attention into money, so revenue. And so that's walking people through the process of looking at your products and then purchasing them. So taking a look at some of the strategies that we use at the top of the funnel, because again, this is where we're really trying to make this as wide as possible. We're trying to show our brand to as many people who can then funnel down into the bottom of the funnel where we're going to convert them all. So some of the strategies that I'm going to show you some examples of a bit later, we use a lot of giveaways and contests. We use quizzes, we use viral videos, and high performing content. So like lead bait or lead gen forms, that sort of thing. So one thing that all of these have in common is that they all provide value to the person looking at the ad first. You're not asking them to like buy something or give you their credit card. You're really trying to build that relationship. You're trying to get that first touch point, and you're trying to get them to discover who you are and what you do. And then as people go down, we'll talk about, and I'll show you how we do sort of remarketing based off website visitors, based off social engagements, and based off the email and SMS remarketing. So all of this is really important in growing your Shopify stores. And, you know, a lot of brands get stuck at this bottom of the funnel. They keep looking at like the ROAS, or return on ad spend, on their ads individually, and they don't look at the total growth. So they just look at this, like half of this funnel here, or the very bottom tip of it. So they're wondering why they can't scale. It's because they're not filling this top half. And so if you don't fill this top half, this bottom half doesn't get any bigger. So that's one of the big takeaways. You've really got to invest in awareness and scale in order to keep growing your company, because you need your remarketing audiences to grow. Now, how do we do all of this? Let's give you some examples. So starting at the top of the funnel, some ideas for you guys to take away with is, when I say viral video, you can't really force virality, but what you can do is you can really focus on the content. So you can focus on content that has a hook, it's engaging, it's educational, it's got a wow factor, it draws people in to engage with somehow. So a few things that we use, you know, any PR releases, any sort of publications that have talked about your brand, your product, anywhere that you can get some sort of third-party exposure. Now, third-party means someone else is saying something great about your brand. So it might be you get featured in a, you know, best Easter presents or best Christmas presents list. You know, or if you're in fitness, it might be like, you know, like top yoga products. Anywhere that you get featured by another brand, that's an endorsement essentially, that brand is saying, hey, these guys have good products. Now, what you want to do is you want to turn that endorsement into your ads. So making videos and images calling out those endorsements. So some examples here is one brand we worked with who got featured on Today's Show. So they did this, and we took that video, turned it into an ad, and I think now it's at like 25 million views or something. And from that, this is obviously not a sales pitch video, but from that you do all the remarketing, you get all the shares, you get all the top of the funnel filled up, so that then you can start remarketing at the bottom of the funnel. Now, not everybody's going to get featured in Today's Show, so you usually start off a lot smaller. So how these guys started off, they would get featured by local news places, they'd work out a partnership with maybe an affiliate or something, or maybe an influencer, and they would get them to maybe write a blog post or feature them somewhere, even on their social channel. And then we would take that and use that as third-party validation, because it's really important that other people are saying great things about your products, not just you saying, hey, my product is awesome. Okay, so a few other things. Press release. If you've got a lot of social engagement, that is another one. Comments on your ads, comments on your posts. Anybody who's featuring you or talking about your brand, use that content and your ad strategy. Now, if you're looking for ways to make really good top of the funnel ads, check out guys like the Harmon brothers who created the Squatty Potty ad and those sorts of things. This is an example of creative being used to engage and entertain people. And then on the back end, they do all the remarketing to follow up and make sure that all of those engagements are turning into revenue.
Now, sorry, Jack. Ooh, sorry, your cyborg mic came on for a sec. Just real quick with the top of the funnel ad example, although the PR stuff, you know, we're talking about Today's Show, that's not an easy one to get. We do think that talking to influencers to some extent is really great. And I wouldn't say like influencers that have 2 million followers, because I'd actually rather you guys work with micro influencers, just so you can kind of get the name out. Those micro-influencers are more loyal. They will post again. They will build a relationship with you and their followers, and they probably will post something about something that they trust. So it builds a better credibility, and you most likely can use their creatives onto yours to give that really like nice lifestyle humanization factor of a brand. So definitely work with some people that, you know, can feature you. It might not be Today's Show, but it's a step up that has a following and it helps your following.
Okay. Nice. And another strategy we use is giveaways. So this is a great way to grow your top of the funnel. because you're getting a ton of engagement, getting a ton of emails, phone numbers, a lot of people to your website or your giveaway, which you can then go and remarket. Now, a few tips in when we're running giveaways for brands, we always make sure that the prize is very relevant to the type of person you want to attract. So, for example, with this brand, who was a supplement brand that we were working with, it was a home gym giveaway. So it was very relevant prizes to the types of customers that they had. Now, these are great because in these giveaways, you can get people to sign up and you collect multiple points of data on them. You can get people to share the giveaway, so you're introducing and getting referrals. You can also add in like bonus actions to giveaways that incentivize people to go and do things like, answer surveys or, share your content, engage with your content, all those different types of things. So giveaways are another really good way to open up that top of the funnel. And if you're a brand new company or brand, and it's kind of a little bit hard to generate a lot of traffic at the top of the funnel or generate any traffic, a giveaway is a great place to start. And then if you don't necessarily have your own products to give away, a lot of the time, what we'll do is we'll kind of like partner with other brands. So for example, this fitness brand or this supplement brand might have also wanted to partner up with maybe a yoga brand company. So someone who does like yoga mats, and they could have done a joint collaboration giveaway. And so both of them could have benefited from running that giveaway. So that cross-pollination between two brands also really helps because you have multiple brands kind of contributing to the prize, and also you have multiple brands helping you promote it. So this works really well because you can generate a ton of social engagement, you can get a lot of awareness, and it does build up your email list so that you can convert people that way. It also builds up your remarketing audiences, which you can then also do. And the other thing is that what we find on giveaway ads is they're going to have, 3 to 5x the click-through rates, 3 to 5x cheaper cost per click. So you do have a lot better efficiency in spend because Facebook is rewarding people with engaging content. So the more people click on your ad, complete the goals, comment, like, share, the more people engage with that post, the lower the cost of that traffic is going to be, because Facebook runs their auction system, and one of the key factors in that auction system is how engaging is this content. Are the people on Facebook and Instagram liking this content or not? If they don't like the content and don't engage with it, your cost per 1,000 impressions goes up. If people are engaging with your content and they see that people like your ad, your cost per 1,000 impressions, CPM, will go down. So you're going to get much better use of your ad dollars. Now, a few things when it comes to referral marketing. We're going to jump into ads as well. And a lot of these things are ads plus, because that's kind of what you have to do at the top of the funnel. You have to get a little bit more creative with the types of strategies that you use. And so with the top of the funnel referral tips, make sure you have a really good value prize that is relevant to your customers that you want to attract. Make sure that you're also giving away or collecting the information that's important. So for example, collecting their name and email is usually standard. And then we'll also maybe connect their phone number so we can do SMS marketing. And then we'll maybe also ask them some questions that are relevant to our business. So it's like with the fitness business, it could be like, how many times a week do you go to the gym? So that's a good data point to see like, okay, well, they're going to consume that much protein powder or whatever. So you can also ask questions in here. And I'll send you the slides after this so everybody can go through and take a look at all these examples, because I know we want to get to the questions, and I'll go through some of the examples. Yep,
Sorry, we have a couple questions.
So,
yeah, so a lot of them are asking, lately Facebook hasn't been doing well. I think it's because of the iOS changes. Do you want to touch a bit on that and go through iOS changes, what's been really affecting the ad accounts the last couple weeks?
Yeah, so what I think I'll do is there is a section in here that goes over attribution and tracking. So I think in that section, I'll talk about how to fix any tracking issues that have occurred from the Apple updates, and go over that so that people don't have to freak out about it, because it's definitely not as bad as it's made out to be sometimes. So I'll go over that in the attribution section.
Sorry, Jack, your cyborg has come back in. Can you repeat that last sentence that you just said?
No, sorry, someone tried to call me. Sorry about that. So I was saying I was going to cover all of the updates and everything in the attribution section, attribution and tracking. And for this example, I'm just going to show what the ads look like for a giveaway campaign that we've run. And so these are a few things that you should keep an eye out for when you're trying to run these campaigns. So first up, you'll see that we spent a fair bit of money here, and our cost per lead is coming in at 40 cents. So with these giveaways, you'll see that it's a very cheap way to acquire these emails, which you can then put into your Klaviyo or MailChimp or whatever you're using there. So this is one way we build the email list, but we also have much higher click-through rates. Usually our click-through rate on this account is under 1%. And then our cost per click is 16 cents. It's usually around $1. And the other interesting thing is our cost per 1,000 impressions. So here you can see our cost per 1,000 impressions on this one is only 96 cents. So this is a great way to reach a huge amount of people and build that top of the funnel. Now, the important part here is that you have your remarketing set up so that you can then go and remarket all those people. And we're going to go through that in a minute, but this is just an example of the type of campaign that you'd want to set up to build that top of the funnel, because the top of the funnel is really important with scaling your brand past that $5,000 a month. All right, let me jump into here. Now, next example is influencers. So influencers are a fantastic way to reach a new audience, and they usually have very high engagement rates because it's coming from a person, not your own brand. So when I say, hey, my ice cream's awesome, people might be like, okay, fair enough, whatever. But if Jen says, hey, Jack's ice cream is awesome, that's a much better testimonial and a much better and a much better way to get someone more interested in your brand. So this is essentially what you're doing when you're using influencers. You're getting the influencer to say, hey, this brand is awesome. And what you want to do with that is you want to take their content and repurpose that. So they created, the influencer in this example created this video. It wasn't too hard on the sales. It just had this little overlay, which is like a coupon code that his fans could use. And, they did really well. They got 2 million views, 1,500 shares, a bunch of engagements here. And all of this was very, very profitable. And what we did after that was we were able to get access to this influencer's page and boost their ad about us so that we could reach more people with that content. So that was a great way for us to get in front of way more people because we were able to leverage someone else's kind of recommendation and amplify that with our paid media budget. So using influencers is a really good way to do that. And again, what Jen's mentioned was using micro influencers is usually a lot easier because if you go and ask, Jennifer Lopez to post about your brand, she's going to be like, sorry, I don't do that, or yeah, it's $100 million. If you go and just find someone who's really passionate about your industry or your product, they might only have 1,000 followers, or maybe aim for a little bit more, maybe like 10,000 minimum. So you can have the swipe up feature on stories. So, just over 10,000 is fine. And go to them who's super passionate. If you're a yoga brand and you find a yoga instructor that's got 11,000 followers and you say, hey, I'll give you all this free content, or also help grow your page by boosting all the content you create about our product, that's a great way to create a relationship with a micro influencer. And that works really well. We usually see 2 to 3x higher ROAS, return on ad spend, from an influencer run post.
Yeah, and also one other thing, like Jack said, we're not working with JLo, but a lot of people are asking, how do you find these influencers? A few ways to find them is you either are in a specific niche. Like if you're in yoga, you're going to find some yogis that definitely post nice, high quality content. But a lot of these people do tag you on Instagram or Facebook that they're like, hey, wearing my whatever jeans. And you can use that and like message them personally being like, hey, I loved your image. Can I use it? 1, 2, would you like a partnership with us? So there's a way that makes it a personal connection versus like on a platform, I'll pay you this, I'll make sure this, and then there's that middleman. It just makes it a really nice personal interaction and genuine interaction. So hopefully if they're already posting about you, they already like the brand. So you'd offer them like, hey, we'll offer you $200 worth of free product or a free pair or whatever. And people are more likely and inclined to come into that and work with you as a partner. But obviously, look at their stats, look at everything like how many people click through and all that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, no, great update. And the other thing is a great strategy to use is user-generated content or reviews. When people are reviewing your product, turn that into an ad. So if you're just asking your current customers who will maybe purchased from you a few times, say like, hey, we'll give you some free product if you make a video reviewing our product, or even giving us a testimonial, or just showing us how you use our product. That is great content that you can use in your ads. Now, it's not obviously super sales focused. This is, again, more top of the funnel, but user-generated content and review videos are a really good way to pique someone's interest and get someone to take that first step of understanding what your brand is, what you sell, and what you do. So definitely look at user-generated content and reviews as being another campaign type or another ad strategy that you use for top of the funnel. Okay, so now a lot of people usually ask about what about the middle of the funnel, because people usually see top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. I usually tell people don't worry about the middle of the funnel when you're getting started. That's way more advanced. Just start with the top of the funnel and bottom of the funnel, and then as you go, you can then start including middle of the funnel. Now, middle of the funnel is usually just people who engage with your content. They haven't quite made it to your website yet. So this is when you can start introducing a little bit more about the product. You can start talking about the benefits and features and the solutions that your product provides, giving information about your product versus other competitors or other possible solutions. So the middle of the funnel is usually the educational step. So the top of the funnel is awareness and engagement. The middle of the funnel is education, and the bottom of the funnel is conversion. Now, when it gets to the bottom of the funnel, the ad type changes a lot. So here you can see the bottom of the funnel is very sales driven. You can see here that we're using emojis, we're calling out all the benefits and features of the product, we're giving discount codes, we're talking about delivery, the creative is just of the product, and we're really trying to push the sale of this. So this is going to get shown to people at the bottom of the funnel. So that's people who have made it to our website, they've looked at our products, maybe they're on our email list that haven't purchased yet, maybe they like our page but they haven't purchased yet. So these are people who know they know who we are, but they haven't yet pulled the trigger in buying something from us. So a few things to note when you're creating bottom of the funnel ads: be very direct. You don't have much time to engage with someone on social media. We'll go into creative a little bit later, but you really have like the first few seconds to hook someone's attention to get them to keep looking at what the rest of the ad says or watch the rest of the video. Now, the other thing is keep your paragraphs really short so that people can easily skim whatever you're trying to say. So you can see in this example, it's all one line, and you can see clearly the outline of the dot points here with the emojis. So definitely use emojis to make consuming the content easy. And another thing is really point out the value add that your product has, the value proposition that you're giving to all of the people who are looking at this ad. If you can, adding scarcity, exclusivity, all that sort of stuff really helps as well, especially when you get down to the bottom of the funnel where it's kind of like people who have added something to their cart but they haven't checked out. So that can be, 20% off for the next 100 customers. It can be 20% off till the end of the month. Whatever scarcity you want to add in there, that will increase your conversion rate. Another tactic that we tell brands to do a lot more is sell in the comments. So the advantage for social media is that there's a conversation happening on all of these different posts that you create. This is another reason why we do dark posting, which I'm going to go into it a little bit later. But we really want to create discussions and engagement on all of our ads so that there is essentially kind of like a forum thread that potential customers can go through and they can read. So people are asking questions about the product and then the brand is answering those questions. So it's almost like an FAQ section straight on Instagram or Facebook. And this severely increases the chances of someone clicking through your ad and then actually going and purchasing, because they're very well educated by the time they get to your website. So make sure you're answering and replying to all your comments and also encouraging people to ask questions in your comments, because those things are really important.
Yeah, and also one other thing too, a lot of the times when you have, I don't want to call it a controversial product, but for example, that bottle company, they're plastic, they're not plastic anymore, but people still consider it plastic, and a lot of the comments were, oh, you're polluting the world or whatever. that's bad stuff. But if you have people commenting back, being like they're doing their part or whatever, it's healthy controversy, and definitely take that. Don't delete all of them. Obviously, delete any hate speech and bad things and swear words and all things that like would take down the brand, but keep things that provide a healthy controversy. So if someone's actually telling you, oh no, it's actually great, or actually I tried this, or this one's actually better, even if it's a bad comment, feel free to use that as a good comment, as a good conversation piece for your customers.
Nice, good insights. And yeah, definitely check out those comments. Now, a few things about copy. Now, some easy ways to do copy and create engaging ads is using what we were mentioning before, testimonials, user-generated content, comments from publications that are important in your niche, or reviews. So you can see in this example, it's literally just taking a quote from Allure, which is a magazine, I think, in the beauty space, and
I think.
Well, I'm not 100% sure, actually. I don't know if it's the hair or the beauty, one of the two. But yeah, so what they're doing there is we're essentially just taking the content from that, and then we're using that for most of the ad copy. Now, a few things to remember: 3 seconds to hook someone, so make sure the first line is really engaging. Keep it super simple. Really just get to the value, get to the point of why they're seeing this ad and what the value is to them. And then the messaging is going to be slightly different between prospecting and remarketing. So prospecting means someone who's never heard of your brand before. So this is top of the funnel. And remarketing is bottom of the funnel. Those are the people who you've already engaged with at least once. Now, I am going to go over audience creation and everything because I saw a quick question about that further down. And I know we've got a lot to get through, so I'm not reading out these dot points. But I will send you the slides afterwards if you want, so that you can go through and look at this a little bit more closely.
There's also the creative webinar that we had a couple weeks ago that they can probably send the links to if needed.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's in the, I'm pretty sure that's in the Growth Labs library as well. So just look for that under Top Growth Marketing. I think Jen should show up. Now, what's really important and how advertising is changing is the crazy amounts of reliance that the ad network has on engagement and good content. So no longer can you just throw up spammy stuff that says 50% off, buy now. Yes, at the bottom of the funnel you can do that, but at the top of the funnel it's really hard to get people to engage with that because there's no value add. You're just asking for money essentially, and Facebook and Instagram is really looking for engaging content. So one way to make really engaging content is to have really good creative. Now, really good creative, a few things to note: really focus on stories. Stories, we're seeing a huge amount of success right now, and as we kind of look at that, the way that content is consumed, people are going to stories, people are going to TikTok, Snapchat. All these platforms are all portrait size. So whenever you create content, we usually suggest making these 3 ratios: 1:1, which is square, landscape, which is good for desktop, and portrait, which is good for stories. Now, we also suggest, if you have the bandwidth, to sort of try and create a really short version, a medium length, and a long. So the longer stuff is really good if it's really interesting, educational, and there's a lot of kind of value that people can get out of it. Shorter videos are more kind of like instant gratification, instant win, asking someone to take action and buy something. So usually bottom of the funnel. So try out different lengths and try out different ratio sizes. Those are all really important. Again, 3 seconds to hook someone. So if you're creating content, make the most interesting screen grab possible for the thumbnail, and make the first 3 seconds the hook, and then you can go into the regular video. So guys that are really good at this, or girls that are really good at this, are on YouTube. So if you go to some of the top YouTube channels, you'll see what I mean by creating super interesting hook at the start of the video and then going into the full length of that video after that. Also, getting inspiration from YouTube channels in your industry is a great way to come up with ad creative. So go and check out all of the top YouTubers in your industry and look at their YouTube, thumbnails. So this is a quick example of kind of like an ad that we would put together that was based off like a PR release or someone else featuring this brand. So this brand, let's go back. Okay, this brand is Micro Puzzles. So they got featured by KTLA, which is a local news station in Los Angeles. And what happened here is they got the content from the PR release, and they were able to leverage this in all of their ads and get a huge amount of revenue from these ads because there was a few things happening here. So one, they were really pushing the value of custom designs, having multiple designs built in the USA. So there's instant value there, and you're really saying what the differentiator is between you and maybe some of the other puzzle places are. The video was showing how interesting the product was, and we also mentioned where they've been featured, and then also saying that they have over 350 5-star reviews. So all of these little indicators were great value adds to people and got people interested in what the product was. And then the video was kind of like left hook, right hook sort of thing, where it was the knockout on the entertainment and the value factor. So this is definitely something that you can kind of like copy and look at creating your own structure and just replacing stuff with, places you get featured, reviews that you have, and maybe your one-liner value pitch. Now we're going to go into dark posting. So dark posting is really a short term just for using existing posts across many different ad sets. Now, this is a feature that has been around forever, but there's a few different ways of doing it. And Facebook has started to, when you duplicate your ads, has started to pass on or keep all of the likes, shares, and comments on those ads. So that's essentially what we're doing here. We're making sure that our ads have a bunch of social validation. So that is likes, shares, and comments. Now, you can read these stats as I talk, but essentially what happens with social validation is it's really the line effect. If you see a restaurant with no line and you see a restaurant with a really long line, you're going to be more interested in the restaurant with a really long line, and you're trying to figure out why that line is so long. Same thing with social media. If you see a post with thousands of likes, shares, and comments, you're going to be much more interested in what that product is in comparison to a post that has 0 likes, shares, and comments. Now, when you're running ads, you are constantly collecting these likes, shares, and comments. When you go and create a new ad, or when you go and create a new ad set or audience, or you want to try an engagement campaign versus a conversion campaign, you want to take all of those likes, comments, and shares with you, so that when you launch your new campaign or your new ad set, you already have all that social validation again. You don't want to start from scratch every time. So this is really easy to do. All you have to do is, when you're creating your ad, choose the use existing post, and then you'll be able to choose an existing post that already exists. So every single ad that you create is actually its own post, and it will have its own URL. So I'm going to show you quickly how to do this so that you can do this on your own ads. So for example, this is a dark post here, and you'll see something slightly different. So in this one, you see we're using the existing post and you can't edit anything. Now, every single ad has its own URL. So every time you click on looking at the URL, this is your post URL ID. So every ad you create has its own ID. And so all you have to do when you are looking to create a dark post is you choose select existing post. And then what you can do is you can choose a post from here, or you can enter the post ID down here. So that's all you have to do when you want to create an existing post. And all that does is, when I go and launch a new ad campaign, I get to keep all of my social validation. So these 20 comments, 10 shares, and likes, I'm going to keep that when I go and create a new ad set or want to target a new interest or something like that. All right, let's get back to full screen. There we go. Okay, now a few frequently asked questions that I get here. I'm going to have to speed this up as well, I think, because we are not all the way through, and we're not halfway through, and we're definitely over halfway in time.
Do you want to go through questions that some people have here versus like, I'm seeing some of them here. Okay. So a lot of people are asking, how much do you put into prospecting versus remarketing, and how would you structure your remarketing audiences?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're going to start off with more remarketing than prospecting, and that's going to change over time. So usually it's going to be 50-50 on prospecting and remarketing. And then as you scale, you want to have like 60% prospecting, 40% remarketing, 60, 70, and then we like to get to the ratio of 80-20. So 80% of your budget is going to prospecting and top of the funnel, 20% is going to the bottom of the funnel. And that's a good ratio to try and achieve, because that means you're spending money on attracting new customers and attracting new audiences. And then hopefully your 20% spend that's on remarketing is getting bigger and bigger, and your ROAS, return on ad spend, on that 20% is usually going to be like 2 to 3x higher than the prospecting, but you're going to have a much higher ROAS. So it's still, and you got to make sure your entire account is profitable. Don't look at your campaign by campaign basis.
Okay, great answer. And then one was, how long should I test my ads for, and how many ads should I have in each ad set?
Okay, so usually I suggest that you test for 3 times the cost per acquisition. So if you have a $100 product, you might say, okay, I need to acquire a customer for $50. So I would test that campaign for $150 or 5 days. So you want to run it at least kind of like around a week, or 3 times the cost per acquisition.
All right, and then another one is, why are my ads not working? I'm losing money, essentially, was one of the questions.
Yeah, so a lot of it is, you've just got to improve that creative, I would highly suggest, if you're just getting started and your ads aren't working, to look at that beginner class, because that goes into kind of like the triangle of growth, which I talk about, the conversion rate on your ad, the creative on your ad, the conversion rate on your website, and how you can continually optimize those things. But essentially, you need to have a good product, good creative, good targeting, good website experience, and then that will result in really good, profitable ad campaigns. But yeah, if you're finding that your ads aren't working, there's probably a step in there that you just need to improve.
All right, and last question before you move on. What kind of conversion? What objective do you use at the top of the funnel versus the bottom of the funnel?
Yeah, so we really like to use conversions in both, but the conversion goal changes. So when you're running a giveaway, your conversion goal is to collect that lead event, which is an email and a phone number. When you're running bottom of the funnel, your conversion event is to get someone to initiate checkout or to purchase. So those are the 2 ways that we usually do it. If we're really looking to just get a lot of volume, you can test traffic, reach, and engagement, but we've always seen the best success with conversion campaigns. Is that it?
Thank you. Yeah, go. All
right.
Your cyborg keeps coming in, so I'm not sure if
sorry about
that. It, but comment a nice little robot emoji if it happens.
Sorry, guys. Well, these headphones, and I was like, I'm going to invest in some good headphones, and they ended up not being good at all. Okay, so let's go into some interest targeting. So when you're starting out, you're probably going to rely more on interest targeting because you just don't have any data yet to make audiences and lookalikes from. So a few different ways that you can find interest to target is go to your competitors' pages, like their page, and it will come up with related pages. Go and add in all of those pages as interest targets. The next one is audience insights. Put in all your competitors' pages or people in your niche that are thought leaders. So, the types of accounts that your target customer is going to engage with, put them into the audience manager, and you'll see a bunch of interests come up that have high affinities with that person or that page. So, this is an example of Keurig, and you can see all these different interests here that you could target. And then these ones down here are really good too, and I'll give you an example in a second. The other thing is the ad account suggestions. If you find an ad set that's working really, really well, just click on the detailed and click on the suggestions. And you're going to get a bunch of suggestions in here that are maybe similar to that interest target that you've already found some success with. So start trying out some of those suggestions. And the other one is just good old-fashioned research. Go onto Google, find the top list of influencers, the top brands in your industry, the top products in your industry, all of those lists that people have probably put together for your industry. See if they all have interest that you can target on Facebook and Instagram. So those are 4 ways that you can find some really good interest to target. And I'm just going to show you a quick example of the audience insights and what we look at. So this is a page that we work with, and so you can see here the breakdown of male versus female. You can see their relationship statuses, you can see their job titles, so you can target all these things. But the main one that you want to look at is the page likes. So down here, you can see you've got tons of interests that you can go and test and target. So I highly suggest going through some of these, and you should be able to find a bunch of interests that will work. Again, making sure that you have a good ad that's engaging, it's grabbing their attention, it's a hook, and then that's going to a website that's going to convert. Now, usually if you have a product that's kind of under $200, you want to be converting above 3%, so 3 to 5%. Like $200 to $500, you can be around maybe like a 2 to 3%, and then as you go higher and higher, your conversion rate can be lower because you're making more money per purchase. But a rough rule of thumb is if you can get to 3 or 5%, that's relatively good. Okay, so let's now go into data and audiences. So this is where it gets a little bit more advanced. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the updates that have been made with Facebook and Apple and the way that things are tracked. Also, the way things are changing with data and how that's getting used. So there's two types of data. You have your social data, which is all of the engagements that happen on Facebook and Instagram. So this is in-app engagements. And then you have your website data. So this is what happens on your website. And all of that information is usually collected by the Facebook pixel, which you place on your Shopify store through a sales channel. So I highly suggest you add the Facebook sales channel, the Google sales channel, the Snapchat, and I think also TikTok. Add them all because that's the easiest way to install your pixels and the easiest way to create your product feeds if you're running dynamic product ads. Now, that's a good starting point to, as soon as you have a brand, add all of those, because the longer you have the pixel on your website, the more data you'll collect. So install them day one if possible. Now, we're going to look at the Facebook Analytics tool. So this is a great tool for slicing and dicing all the data that you have available. And we're going to go into some examples of how we create really detailed audiences, which we can then go and create lookalikes from for prospecting, or we can actually use for like hyper-targeted remarketing. And you can also take a look at lifetime values, average order values, so that you can get a good understanding of who your customer is, what their value is, and how to find more people with that same value. So one of the biggest things in the Facebook Analytics tool is the ability to create really cool audiences. So if you want to slice and dice your data into people, for example, who have a lot of page views and also have purchased multiple times, you can create that, and that will give you an audience, which then you can go and create into a custom audience. Now I'm going to show you how to do this in a second. But this is a great way to get a little seed audience that you can then turn into lookalikes to find new customers that are like your best, highest value customers. So in terms of the audience sizes, Facebook requires a minimum of 100 people in this audience. Ideally, you want like 1,000, and if you can get 4,000 and up, that's even better. But you want to find this balance between like really valuable audience members, and volume, because if you just go everybody on your website, so page views, that's like so many different people. They all have like values of really low to really, really high. So you want to try and find in the middle where there's like a decent amount of volume, but those people are really high value. So for example, in this, we're really looking at people who purchase multiple times and browse the website a lot, because those are the people we really want to find more of. Another really cool thing that you can do with the Facebook Analytics is take a look at your percentages. So you can take a look at your best converters. So for example, the top, let's say 20% of converters, you'll see, okay, they spend over $200. So you're going to want to create a custom audience of people who spend more than $200. And then you want to go create lookalikes from 1% all the way up to 10% for that audience, because that is your top 20% of customers. So you want to tell Facebook, hey, I want to go find more people like this. And a lookalike audience just means, for example, like, hey, Facebook, here's 1,000 people. I want you to go find 1% of America that is most alike these 1,000 people. So that's a 1% lookalike audience. And you can do that with, so many different metrics. So for example, If you have a really high amount of engagement with people messaging your brand, and those customers are like super loyal, you know, they're always asking for new products, they're always giving you feedback, they're always talking to you, you might say, okay, I want to find, you know, my top 20% of customers who message me the most. Now, just be careful with this one, because if people are messaging you to complain, you don't want to go find more people like that. You really want to find people who are, you know, positive and going to grow your business. The next one is the funnel option. I'm going to quickly breeze through this afterwards so you can see how to do all this, but these screenshots are just good examples. So in here, what you can do is you can look at different events that you're collecting information on. So for example, this one is a repeat purchase. So this brand, it usually takes 2 to 3 weeks for someone to come back and purchase a second time. And you can see that 42% of people purchase a second time. So this is really, really high. If you have a really low percentage of people who are purchasing a second time, that's a massive opportunity for you to go back to your past purchases and try and get them to buy other products, or try and get them to buy your same product multiple times if it's refillable. So take a look at this one. I always suggest brands look at their repeat purchase rate to see, because these people.
Oh, sorry, you just have a couple questions. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay.
Finish what you're saying. I'll come back in just a sec.
Okay, I'll just finish this and then answer those. So this can be a massive opportunity, because re-engaging with people who have already purchased from you are much cheaper. You can email them, you can SMS them, you can create audiences around them that aren't very big but are, like, convert really, really high. So this is a great way to maximize the value out of the money that you've already spent attracting these customers. So Jen, let's jump into those questions.
Yeah, okay. So when you're creating audiences based on the percentages, should each audience be in its own campaign, or can all of the audiences be in one campaign?
You can do either. I usually suggest starting out with doing them in individual ad sets, and then if they show early signs of traction, putting all of the best ones into one ad set. Now, Facebook is really pushing for people to consolidate. So consolidation meaning that you have less campaigns and you have less ad sets, because you can have more efficiency with the data collected. So for example, Facebook suggests that you have 50 conversion events a week for each ad set. So this means if you have like 100 ad sets, it's going to be really hard to get 50 conversions for each one of those ad sets. So that's why you're consolidating some of these and having less ad sets, but adding only your top audiences into those main core evergreen ad sets.
Cool. And one more, what is the minimum budget and time to test these audiences if your return per purchase is low, for example, less than 14?
So for return purchase, I would highly suggest that you actually do a frequency on this, not necessarily a dollar spent. So look at a month and see how many times those repeat purchases are seeing your ad. Now you can go really high on this. So I would suggest testing from 10 to 15 frequency over a 30-day period. So this means that a past purchase is seeing your ad every, pretty much 2 days. And that's really important, because you've already spent so much money attracting these people. You know they like your product, and you know they're going to purchase, so stay in front of them. And then again, you can make your repeat purchase window only 30 days. So once they've seen it for every 2 days for 30 days, they'll go out of that ad set so that you don't keep annoying them. And then you can maybe create another audience that's maybe 30 to 180 days where your frequency is much lower. Is there another question?
Thank you for your time.
Oh, that's it? Okay. Hopefully while I was answering those, you guys took a look at some of these. These are some benchmarks that we usually suggest. Lifetime value between 200 and 500. If you're below that, try and increase that by adding new products, increasing your pricing, adding multiple purchases. There's a bunch of different ways you can increase your lifetime value. Average order value, try and get it to $100 to $200 if possible. If you're at a low average order value, it does make it harder to run ads, because you have to acquire customers at a lower cost, and the cost of ad traffic is only getting more expensive. So I highly suggest bundling or improving your conversion rates, or trying to upsell people or cross-sell people as they come to your website. And then these are some other stats that you want to check out. Now, another thing we're going to give you guys to go away with is this unit economics calculator, which we use a lot. So this has all of the benchmarks in here. which you can take a look at, all the conversion rates. It also has a super basic planning sheet here, so you can work out your unit economics. So this is really good for figuring out how profitable you're going to be, and projecting what your ad spends, your profit margins, and all that sort of stuff has to be. And then we have a more in-depth ads planning calculator that you can use. So you can put in scenarios and it will spit out all of this information like lifetime values, cost of goods, profitability, ROAS based off your ad account, based off all expenses, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to go through all of this right now, but definitely when you get these slides, make a copy of that and just use those for your brand to see how you can continually improve those. Now, I'm going to quickly take you through the analytics. So to get to analytics, all you have to do is go up into the top left of your business manager, and you'll scroll down to Analyze and Report and go to Analytics. It's going to open up this, and you have all of these different things along here. So, this is how you create those filters. So you can say, okay, people who added to the cart, plus people who maybe also viewed the page, let's say 3 or more times. Oh, sorry, page view. Date, event count is greater than 3. So that way you could do that, and then all you have to do is come down here and click Create Your Audience. Now, same with funnels. This is where you're looking at your repeat purchase rate, and you can take a look at your percentiles down here. Those are the main things I really suggest looking at. We did publish a really good post to Social Media Examiner about all of this, so we can maybe link to that as well, and you can take a deep dive look into all of that sort of stuff, and how to use those analytics to create better audiences and scale your brand. All right, so optimizing bottom of the funnel. Now, this is a little bit small probably, but these are all of the metrics that we usually look at when we're trying to optimize accounts. So your most important metrics should be up here. So that's your purchases, ROAS, and then you go down to add to cart and initiate checkout, and then you go down to link clicks, landing page views, impressions, and then social engagements. One of the most undervalued metrics is your post saves or post shares. And then also you can create custom metrics. So what we do is we create a lot of custom metrics, like the ratio of how many people share in comparison to how many people saw it. So this is using what we call a share ratio. So the higher your share ratio, the more viral your ad is going to be. So really looking at all of these metrics is super important. So set up your columns to have all of these in here. So again, you can get these slides and just copy these into your columns. So in here, you'll take a look to see what this looks like. The ones you want to focus on is your cost per purchase, your ROAS, your cost per add to cart, your click-through rate, and your cost per click. These are the main things you want to focus on when you're optimizing your bottom of the funnel, because you're really optimizing for this ROAS, return on ad spend. At the bottom of the funnel, again, you can be way more aggressive with your sales pitches, the value that your product has, and you're really just trying to close the deal. You've done all of the work, you've done all the education, you've done all the hype, you've created a lot of need and want for your product. Now you're just asking them to pull the trigger and make that purchase. If you are just getting started, I highly suggest just putting all of your remarketing audiences into one campaign and one ad set. If you have been running ads for a while and you have a lot of traffic, then you're going to want to start segmenting your ad sets in your remarketing campaign so that you have people who view a page, view specific pages, add something to their cart, maybe initiate checkout, people who receive emails but don't open, and you're going to get much more granular as your funnel expands. But if you're just getting started, put everything into one, because your audience is this big. It's this little tiny audience here. And as you fill it up, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can create more segmented out ad sets for your remarketing, which has slightly different messaging. I can't remember what this demo is actually. So this is an ad account. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. So these are the custom metrics here. So you can look at things like ad reach to purchase. Here's your conversion rate. You can look at click to purchase rates. You can look at your click to cart and then cart to purchase, watch rate, and your share ratio. So this one's really important because what you want to do with your share ratio is if you're at a 0.1 or above, that's a really good share ratio. And you should really focus on trying to scale that ad. Now, the other thing to note is your share ratio will be affected by your CPM here. So if you have a really high CPM, on Facebook, it can get up to like $40 to $60. If you have a really high CPM, you might have a false negative. So meaning that you'll have a really high share ratio when it's actually not that high. So look at the benchmarks of your CPM and say, okay, my average is like 250, and then look at your averages of your share ratios. You're looking for the ads that really stand out. So our average is like down here, and you can actually look at the exact ads that have the high share ratios. So you know, like, hey, this ad is really good. So we might, I can't filter by this, thanks Facebook. But you might want to go through here and you might want to find the ads that have really high share ratios. So the average is 0.1. So we're looking for everybody with a higher than 0.1 ratio. I really wish I could filter this. No, I can't find them.
What were you looking for?
I was looking for a high share ratio ad to say like, hey, this is an ad that you should scale. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Facebook is right here because it's saying my average is 0.1, but then I can't find any over 0.1. So that's Facebook's fault.
I mean, Facebook is Facebook, so.
Yeah, Facebook will, okay, actually, that is a great point. That reminds me. So going back to the updates that have been happening with Apple and the changes in all the attribution stuff that's coming up next. So I'm going to go over that too. So that just reminded me to talk about that. Okay, top of the funnel, you're really looking at your shares, your click-through rates, your cost per leads. So that's when you create a conversion campaign, you optimize the leads. You really want to look at that. You want to look at the longer periods, like 14 to 30 days and lifetime. You don't want to look at your day-to-day results. And then, yeah, this isn't the top of the funnel. You're not focusing on ROAS. You're focusing on these other metrics that are showing attention and that first touch point metric. And then you're looking at ROAS, return on ad spend, at the bottom of your funnel, remember. Now, you will have a slightly delayed conversion on your ROAS for your top of the funnel because someone might enter the top of the funnel, they might enter your giveaway, and then they might convert 2 or 3 weeks later when they get an email or when they see another remarketing ad or something like that. So you will get a lot of delayed conversions from your top of the funnel. We have some cheat sheets here that you can also take and look at. Now, talking about all of this, now I want to just give you a quick rundown of attribution and customer journey. So this is definitely more advanced. And if you're just getting started, don't worry about this. But yeah, this is something that you will want to look at as you scale. So customer journey is essentially, the journey the customer goes through before they buy a product. So as you know, people do not purchase the first time. Usually it's taking, 4 to 8 touch points before someone's even willing to hand over their credit card to you. So you've got to think, how do I accelerate that period so that they get 6 to 8 touch points or 4 to 8 touch points as quickly as possible? So you need to make sure that you're doing that remarketing, you're attracting those people, and you're touching that customer in multiple points. So by email, SMS, ads on Facebook, ads on Instagram, maybe ads on Google, YouTube, all these different touch points, because in all of those ads or all those emails, you're showing like why your product is better. You're giving them a reason to look at your product, look more closely at the deal that you're offering, and then hopefully purchasing. So think about your customer journey. Think, where does the customer discover me and where does the customer convert? So this is going to be very different. A lot of people look at the lifetime journey as being one session. Okay, that person discovered me here and they converted all in that one session, which isn't actually the case in most cases. So that's when attribution models come into play. So an attribution model is essentially meaning who gets credit for the conversion. So when you're really focused on bottom of the funnel and you're being very conservative, so you're really looking just for profitability, you're not really looking to scale, you're really looking at the last click. So the last touch point gets attributed to conversion. So say Jen came in and she was going to buy my shoes. So she saw my shoes in a Google ad, then she got an email, then an SMS, then maybe she saw another Facebook ad, and then she got another email, and that email she clicked and she bought. That email, that last email she got, would get attributed that conversion value. So that's the last click attribution. Whereas the first click attribution would be the Google ad. That was the first time Jen learned about my brand. And this is the growth orientated attribution model versus the conversion and conservative attribution model. Now, what you can do is you can use these different attribution models to look and understand your customer journey a little bit better. I really like the positional based because you're looking at where that person entered your customer journey and where that person converted. So this is a great way to get a good idea and understanding of your most important touch points, your first and your last. Now, what does this mean for you? You have the Facebook attribution tool. So this is an example of what the last touch looks like in comparison to the positional 40. So here you would say, okay, my prospecting isn't profitable. I'm at a 0.95 ROAS. Whereas this is on the last click attribution model. Whereas when I look at my positional based attribution model, my prospecting is actually at a 1.3 ROAS. So I'm getting $1.30 back every dollar I spend. Whereas on the last click, it's saying that, my prospecting isn't actually converting that many people. So this is why it's a really important thing to look at your attribution models in the Facebook attribution tool and understand the difference between first click and last click, because Facebook defaults to last click attribution model when you're looking at your ads manager. Now, just to give you a quick demo of what that looks like, and I'm trying to speed through this at the end because I know we're running a little bit over, and I know you guys all have exciting lives and other stuff to do apart from sit here and listen to me in my robot voice.
No, this is so great. Cyborg's amazing.
Okay, so when you go to your attribution tool, you can find it under your same place, your business tools, and then under your reporting, you just go to the attribution tool. Now here, you can take a look at your different attribution models. So you can see here, you've got all your different attribution models. You've got your first touch, your last touch, and your positional 40. And then you can also look at the length of your attribution windows. Now, this is where I'm going to talk about the updates that have happened with Facebook and with Apple. So Facebook now, it used to attribute a conversion within 28 days of a click and 1 day impression. So if someone clicked on your ad and converted 14 days later, that ad would still get attributed that conversion. However, now they have transferred to a 7-day click and 1 day impression attribution window. So that means if someone clicks on an ad and they purchase 14 days later, that ad is not going to be attributed that conversion. So they have shortened the amount of time that they are giving your ads to claim credit for that conversion. Now, one good thing about Shopify and Facebook is that they've worked really hard to enable server-side tracking, the conversion API, which I know is a scary term, but essentially this is why you want to use that Facebook channel integration so that you just put in your pixel and you enable the server-side tracking. I'm pretty sure we have an article on how to do that, which Jen can maybe drop in there. But you really want to make sure that you enable server-side tracking, because this will help match more conversions that are getting lost. So for example, the reason they're getting lost is because the data that gets passed back from your Facebook pixel to Facebook is getting limited. So you definitely want to set that up. One thing that I do suggest when you're looking at your attribution tool is to go and take a look at your customer reports, look at your campaigns, and you'll be able to see all of your campaigns listed here. And what you can do here is you can then start comparing, let's say, your 7-day 1 impression and your percentage here. You can see, okay, 49% of my conversions are coming from paid, 9% from organic, 42% direct. Direct is essentially when someone goes straight to your website. So they type in yourwebsite.com into Google, or it's untracked. So when people say direct, a lot of the time the analytics platform doesn't know where that traffic came from. That's why you're seeing your Google Analytics, it's direct/none. Okay, and so we're looking at that. So we're looking at 49% coming from paid, and then you might want to look at first touch. And in first touch, we can see 50% is coming from paid, and last touch, you can see 45% is coming from paid. So it's kind of like a good quick way to take a look at where your attribution's at. But you can also use this and take a look at all of your campaigns. So in your ads dashboard, remember that is all last click attribution. So I highly encourage you to come through and take a look at all of your prospecting campaigns in the attribution tool, because you'll be able to get your ROI or ROAS for your prospecting campaigns a little bit more accurately in the attribution tool rather than using the ads dashboard. Let me just close some of these windows. Okay, targeting and FAQs.
Sorry. Hi, so sorry.
Go
Just a
for
couple
it.
questions.
Question time?
Yes, question time. If you're not looking at ROAS, how do you scale without going bankrupt?
Okay, so remember where I was saying you want to look at your ROAS over your total entire account. So your prospecting campaigns might not be over a break-even ROAS, but your remarketing ads should be well over your break-even ROAS. So you want to look at that combined, so your blended ROAS. So your account, your total account should always be, at a positive ROAS. Just some of your campaigns might not be at a positive ROAS. And you want to make sure that your prospecting campaigns are the one not at a positive ROAS, not your remarketing. So you're still looking at the total profitability within your ad account. Now, the other thing I highly encourage you to do is look more than just your ad account and look at your total income, your total expenses, and use that unit economics sheet to actually get a good read on your month-over-month growth and how much you're investing in ads and growing your business versus how much return you're getting. Because a lot of the secondary benefits that you're getting from ads, thousands of people seeing your ads, people reaching out for collaborations, people understanding and seeing your product but maybe not getting tracked properly, people who maybe see your ad and then come back 4 months later to go and buy it, people who see your ad and talk about it to their friends. All these secondary metrics that you're doing when you run advertising doesn't necessarily get tracked. So that's why you also want to take a look at your total unit economics and be like, okay, how much am I investing in my marketing? How much return am I getting in total from that remarketing? So you want to look at your ad account, make sure that's profitable, and then also your entire business. And if that is profitable, how much am I investing? How much am I getting back? Because you want to make sure that you're continually growing month over month in terms of profitability as well as volume. Because you could be at 100 ROAS spending $100 a month and you can only make $1,000. Or you can be at a 5 ROAS spending $2,000 a month and you're going to be at whatever that is. Like, what did I say? 5 ROAS at $1,000 a month. So $5,000, even though that's half the, even though it's half the ROAS, you're making so much more in revenue. So think about that. It's not all about ROI and ROAS. It's also about your month-over-month growth and the total volume growth of your company. All right, now this has been super long. Oh wait, sorry, were there more questions?
Yeah, there were a few. Hold on. Oh, where did it all? Thank God. What if your remarketing isn't at a positive ROAS? What would you do to fix that?
Okay, so if your remarketing is not a positive ROAS, you possibly need to improve the product, you need to improve the website, or maybe you need to improve the ad creative. Because if your ad isn't positive in remarketing, it's very hard to scale to prospecting. So the other thing is to think about what you're remarketing. Are you remarketing traffic from your website that's actually interested in your product? I see this a lot of the time. People might run, for example, a giveaway and they're giving away like an Amazon gift card and they might be selling, maybe they're selling protein bars. Now, people who are looking for an Amazon gift card aren't necessarily interested in protein bars. So you're just filling all your remarketing buckets with irrelevant potential customers. So your remarketing isn't going to be profitable. So you've got to think about, where is all your traffic coming from? Is that audience actually interested? Am I attracting the right person? So if you've got a good audience that you're remarketing, then it's probably your creative or your conversion rate. Now, if you have a really good conversion rate on organic traffic, but maybe not on your ads, it might be that your creative is not working too well. Hope that answers that one.
Thank you. Oh, robot came back.
Oh, sorry.
How do you know if you've reached remarketing fatigue?
Yeah, so usually you're going to want to kind of change out your creative and continually try and improve them month after month. So, every 1 to 2 months, you want to try and introduce some new creative and try and improve that creative. And so that's getting better click-through rates, getting better share ratios, getting lower cost per clicks, getting higher conversion rates. You want to continually try and improve your creative over time. So that will avoid the fatigue. Now, having said that, we have some brands that we've been running an ad for over a year and it's still converting. So it also depends on, what the results of those ads are. Now, if you're hitting fatigue, take a look at your frequency. If your frequency is like over 7 days and people are seeing your ads every day, it's going to hit fatigue pretty fast. So you might just want to lower your budget on some of those maybe. Or you might want to segment that remarketing traffic a little bit better. But yeah, ideally every month or two, you should be kind of trying to introduce new creative. And that's why it's really important to track the performance of your creative and hopefully improve month over month. So another one.
Ooh,
oh,
no,
you're on mute.
Am I still muted?
No, I can hear you.
Oh,
Were there
okay.
any more questions?
Can you set your own frequency? That's the last one.
No, so frequency is controlled by your budget. You can't necessarily set frequency unless you use the campaign type, reach and frequency. But I don't usually suggest using reach and frequency unless you have a really, really good audience. So possibly in remarketing, and reach and frequency is not trying to optimize for conversion. So usually this is on really high budgets for really good remarketing campaigns. You would use a reach and frequency campaign. If you're spending less than $5,000 a month, definitely don't use reach and frequency.
Thank you. Keep going.
Okay, so wrapping all of this up and putting it all together. So some key takeaways are definitely think about your ad campaigns as a top and bottom of the funnel strategy. Try some of those different campaign types that we mentioned. Try those optimizations that we talked about. Focus on your remarketing. Your remarketing is going to be really important for making your ad accounts profitable. Look at the frequency. Look at your attribution models. Understand that. Make sure you connect up server-to-server tracking with the Facebook sales channel for Facebook. Sorry, the Shopify Facebook sales channel. Testing and data is always super important. You need to continually be testing audiences, creative, things on your website. You want to continually improve month over month. There's never any comfortable point. So if you're not kind of trying new things and you're like, hey, it's all running great, if you're not innovating and trying to improve on that, then that will get stale and you'll need to kind of rebuild. So it's a good idea to think of like monthly sprints and continually think of one thing to improve every month. And advertising is going towards creative. Everything is going to be super creative driven and engagement driven. These platforms need to keep people on their platform, and that is people are going to stay on the platforms if they're entertained, if they're getting value from the content. If they're not getting value from the content, then they're going to leave Facebook or Instagram. People are going to leave to TikTok. So Facebook doesn't want that. So you got to think about that from an advertiser's point of view. How do I create engaging ads that capture someone's attention and then follow up with remarketing ads? Okay, so let's go through a few of these quickly. I'm going to let people actually just jump straight into these slides at the end and go through the recaps, because I know that we wanted to jump into some quick page teardowns, and we can maybe do that for, maybe like 20 or 30 minutes. So maybe submit your URL to your website, and we can do a quick teardown and give you some ideas on maybe top of the funnel campaigns or ways that we would go about marketing it. And just while that's happening, I'll maybe go through a few of these important recaps. Again, advertising on Facebook and Instagram is only one piece of the puzzle. Look at the entire picture, look at the entire puzzle, use that unit economics sheet, use those planning sheets. The success of the really successful brands you work with, 30% of their revenue comes from paid ads, 30% from email, 30% direct/none, 10% is kind of floating. Your setup checklist. I highly suggest that you're spending kind of like, it's even a little bit more actually. I really suggest you're spending like $50 a day to actually start running some decent ads. If you're spending less, it's always a little bit harder. Everything takes a little bit longer. That's the main takeaway from that one.
Sorry, Jack, real quick, do you want people to drop their ad library or their websites? I'm seeing people starting to drop websites, and I have a feeling you'd rather have ad library.
Either. I think we can do either right now.
All right, I'll collect everything. If you guys want to put your ad library or ad or your website, just send it in here, and I'm going to put it in a doc for you in the side.
Yeah, and the other thing is maybe we'll also possibly just, if we don't get to some of them today, because I know this has already been an hour and a half webinar, if we don't get some of them, we can maybe post a follow-up video where I just go through all of them quickly in the Shopify Facebook group. That might be another way to get to all of them. The other thing is you can always email us if you want us to take a look and go through that. So it's just Jen, J-E-N-N, or Jack, J-A-C-K, at topgrowthmarketing.com. You can always take a look at that if we don't get to yours today. Okay, so ad checklist, campaign checklist, breaking out prospecting and remarketing is just really, really important. And your to-do list. So Jen, do we have enough URLs and everything? Or should I just go through the chat? I can just go through the chat if you want. Start
clicking here. I'm going to send it to you on Slack. Cool. And then there's a couple others I'm about to send you. There's about like 5 to be honest. So, actually, just kidding. This chat's going off. Yeah, you should have a couple.
I love whoever called themselves A-OK.
Yeah. I wish. Getting phone calls.
Okay, so just a to-do list for you guys, just to get started. Make sure you set up your Shopify sales channel for Facebook, enable your conversion API, talk to your top customers, really understand their interests, understand what they like about your product, get them to make reviews, how-to videos, and all this sort of stuff that's going to be creative that you can use in your ads. Segment your traffic between prospecting and remarketing, which we talked about. Use video creative. You can get a brand story, and you can add so much more value in a video than you can in an image. So make sure you do that. Make sure your website is optimized to mobile. This is really, really important just because all of these ad platforms are pretty much mobile focused now. So you really have to focus on, the user experience for those people when they click through the ad onto your website. The other thing, focus on top of the funnel campaigns if you're struggling to scale your brand. So often do we see brands struggling to scale because they keep trying to do what they've been doing in the remarketing bucket, and they keep trying to look at direct response ROI, which just doesn't scale. You really got to look at top of the funnel prospecting and growth, attention, engagement, and then bottom of the funnel profitability. And then balance that so that your entire business is profitable. Double down on remarketing, focus on the share ratio. Okay, so let me go and dive into some of these. Okay, there's a fair few. Okay, let's try some of these. Okay, so these top 5, let's get out of this. All right, so we've got some websites, and we've got some ad libraries. Now, I won't make the mistake of opening up a billion tabs all at once, because last time we did that, it just took forever for them to load. All right, so here we have a site here. I would say it looks pretty good, but it just looks very, very salesy. I would really focus on the benefits over the pricing right here. So, it's having a nice home, improving your home decor, changing your living space, that sort of thing. And then have like shop top collections. The chances of someone wanting exactly one of these 5 products is kind of tough. So you really want to try and funnel them to a collection, to the hottest products, to the best products. This is great, adding hover states so that people know that they can click on these, or even making these look a little bit more like buttons, because on mobile, you're not going to know that these are clickable. This is really good. So anybody who has a website, make sure you are adding trust indicators. So that is money back guarantees, that is customer support, that is shipping information, that is support customer phone numbers or emails. All of that sort of stuff will help. And again, pretty good site because you're showing a lot of the products all in one. Only thing I would be worried about is the page load on this. Make sure this page is loading super quickly. If you're running ads, make sure that you're running ads to collections. So for example, you might show, a great video on recreating an amazing bathroom, and then you want to link to your bathroom collection. So anybody with a website, think about how you can actually change or put your ads and direct them to collections rather than your homepage. Sometimes that can work a little bit better. Okay, so this one is selling all our visions of visors. Okay, for protection. Okay, so what I would do is just work on this spacing a little bit. You want to make sure that the website doesn't look broken, because if the website looks a little bit broken, then people are going to bounce. So just focus on this a little bit. This is great. It's really eye-catching. You have super bright colors. You have interesting. I would just tint this maybe a little bit, and so that you're going to get the text to stand out a little bit more. And that text you want to make your future self will thank you. This is good because it's benefits. Your future self will thank you. And maybe just change over these. Keep the text and font the same. Make this button way bigger. Take me to the visor. Okay, this is great. And again, like one thing that I want to point out for people, like this works really, really well because there's so many lifestyle shots here. Lifestyle sells so much better than product shots. Okay, and then going to a product page. Okay, now on the product page, great. You've got a sizing guide. That's really good. Description, returns, reviews. I was going to say add reviews. And the other thing is, if you've had your product ever worn by celebrities, influencers, anybody, it's a really good idea to have your have a section on your product pages that's like used by, worn by, seen in, so that you're adding that third-party validation. Okay, down here you've got some reviews, which is great. So all up, this website's pretty good. I would just check the mobile. So yeah, on mobile, this is kind of like taking up a lot of space and it looks a little bit broken and your font's a little bit off. So most people are looking at this website in the mobile form. How you have those little animations can slow down your website a lot. So if you want to remove animations, that will speed it up a little bit. And so everybody should just go and take a look at their site on mobile. Now, one way to take a good look at it is to press on select, inspect, and click on mobile. And so what you can do is you can change the type of device here. This is just in Google Chrome. So you can see what it looks like on an iPhone. So you can see here, like half of it is this, and it does look a little bit broken. So think about how you can make your website really mobile optimized. Because what you don't want to do is pay a few dollars to get someone to click on your ad. They come to this and they bounce within a few seconds. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this is an ad library. All right, the Flex Company, healthier periods. Okay, great. This is definitely one that's probably more suited towards Jen.
You want me to talk about this?
Well, all I can say from first off is like, great looking ads. Like this stuff where you're pulling out. Yeah, really good job on this one.
I
These
would
ads
actually
work
add,
really well.
sorry, Mail. I would actually add more emojis on here in the copy, just because I think that's gonna show a big pain point. I'm not sure if a woman or a male is running this. I really hope it's a woman. One thing I actually think is that you want to make it a little more relatable. These are really like male-centric colors, like the black and the greens. I would make them a little softer, or maybe something that helps the period kind of, I don't want to say come through, that's the worst thing because that's not what a tampon does, but I think having it like just show more of what it can be, more feminine touches might be a little bit better. And then also I think, having more emojis in the copy like really show like the pains that we go through with our periods, right? Like showing the sad emojis, the one that have like the crying faces. I think like you have kick your period, show like the kick thing, or like the dancing emojis, just to kind of push that emotion more in the copy.
All right, nice. So I think, yeah, really good creative here. The only thing is that would concern me a little bit is the price point. You're at, I think it was $12.50. So you got to think about how you can increase that average order value to make your ads work, whether it's, selling multiple, selling bundle packages or something like that. But think about how you can get that, that value, that average order value up, or that lifetime value up. So adding subscriptions, all that sort of stuff if you're already doing that. But yeah, do agree with Jen on making them more feminine focused colors, and also maybe having some more lifestyle ads. So really talk about the benefit of your product, or like the solution. So you could put some stats in here about how your product has changed the lives of X amount of girls. Or you can say, okay, I used to do. You could work with a customer, and they could explain what their problem was before they found your product and how they were feeling after they found your product, and the life-changing experience that was. So really talking with your customers and getting them to make that content for you is a great way to do that as well. And I feel like that's a great product for this. Okay, so here we have, we have Melissa. I help students stress less and graduate faster. Nice. Okay, so first up, super interesting ads. Download our free copy of a chemistry survival guide. Okay, so this is a great example for everybody watching of how you're delivering value first up. So what I would do as well is I would add in, okay, you've got the links in here, perfect. Fantastic, you're using emojis, your copy is really good. The creative is really good, free. The only thing I would do is I would make this a little bit more personal by making some videos and definitely using story ads, because if you're looking to target younger people who are studying, they're all using stories. They're all on Instagram stories. They're not necessarily on Facebook looking at carousel ads. And I know you probably have all placements, so this probably does show on Instagram, but making a simple kind of like, hey, swipe up to get my free XYZ, that on stories would do really, really well. So I would focus on some other platform, some story ads as well. All right, so let's take a look at a few more of these. I think Jen's left me to attend some puppies. She's fostering 2 little 7-week-year-old puppies right now, so I can imagine that's been a handful. Sorry, I'm just getting a few more up here so that we can take a look. Okay. All right. And again, guys, if we don't get to yours, still add it to the chat, and we'll probably try and make a document that we have all of them in, and we make maybe a long video about it. Okay, so a few things about this website. Again, take a look at the mobile view. One thing to note is when you add all of these different chats and everything, it does slow down your page load a lot. So one thing you can think about doing is not putting the chats on your homepage, for example. So your homepage is loading super quickly, and you just have it on your help page, your product pages, your contact pages, all that sort of stuff. So that's an option to speed up your page load if you don't have a very quick page load. Now, one way you can look at this is the Google Page Speed tool. And so this is a great way to take a look at how fast your website is and what might be slowing it down. So all that analyzes, we'll go back to this. Okay, so you've got some stories here. You've got the product on the homepage, which is great. Soothe your itch, again, get 3 items for the price of 2. Fantastic. This is a good example of an order bump. What happens when I add this to my cart? Okay, so here you should have some sort of order bump here. So looking at something like Bold Apps or something, which is a app that you can install on Shopify to then say, hey, add 2 more and save $10 or something like that. So Bold Apps makes a lot of those upsells. You're about to get my email, so I wouldn't necessarily fire the pop-up on your cart page or any of your checkout pages. Because if you have, for example, if someone's already here, you don't want them to leave. Like you're already going to collect their email, and you don't want to show, hey, get 10% off because I'm about to check out. So you don't want to say, hey, now get 10% off because I'm like, oh, I want 10% off. So I'm going to go sign up. I'm going to leave this checkout page, and then I'm going to go wait for that email to come through, and then probably come back and purchase. And by then, something might have happened. I might have bounced. I might have left. So avoid doing pop-ups on cart pages and checkout pages, everybody. Okay, that's a good one. This one here, Real Treat. This looks great. Like you can see how, this instantly grabs my attention because it's like, wow, I like that. That looks yum. What I would do is add some call to actions and maybe make this a little bit darker so I can see the navigation a bit better. One thing with navigation, try and simplify it. So there's a lot going on. You might want to try and shorten some of these, or might want to try and bundle them or categorize them a little bit better. The other thing is, if you do wholesale, don't put this in your main menu. Put wholesale down the bottom. Because if I'm even a regular user, I'm going to be like, hey, I wonder how I get wholesale pricing. So, I would focus on getting people to purchase regularly. And then if they need in the footer or something, you can have the wholesale. This is a great example for people watching as well in how to increase average order value. Set up a coupon code that people get X amount of dollars off if they spend over a certain amount. Now make that certain amount 20% higher than your average order value. So if your average order value is 10, make your coupon code only activate at $12. So, or make that coupon code only activate when they purchase more than one product. That's a great way to increase your average order value. So there's a few things on this site. I would just really focus on getting more people to the shop pages from the above the fold. So above the fold here, I want to be able to go buy right now. So shop most popular products, buy now, whatever it may be. Make sure that you are pushing people towards those pages. All right, so Spun Bamboo brand apparel. Okay, so we are offering Beyond Soft Eco-Friendly. Okay, great. All right, now, this is a very controversial topic, the images for apparel brands. Now, Jen, you might want to talk to this a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
But okay,
controversial. Yeah, controversial is definitely not the word I was saying, but I would say that it does look a little interesting. I'm not sure if these are DPAs or pulled from the site, just because of the white background. The white background is not my favorite. It just definitely feels a little. There you go. I like those too. It just feels a little salesy. I really prefer having content like this, lifestyle, having them walking down the street or whichever. That's how you kind of show off apparel. The white background's not the best thing to show off the comfort. Like here's probably a video. Also, again, don't be afraid to use emojis on here. So smooth, it feels like second skin. I get it, but I also think that it could be, I don't know if that's the right phrase I would use. Maybe just being like, I can live in this all day, closest thing to a cloud. Second skin kind of makes it feel like it would be really tight. I wouldn't say that my skin's the smoothest or anything, so I would try to find something that's more compelling. So what would make you wear something? It looks good, it feels good, builds your confidence. I would push more of that kind of copy, and then some more emojis. Sorry, the dogs are now like up and running.
The other thing I would also mention that works really well with some of the apparel brands we worked with is if you get featured somewhere. So say, for example, you get featured on a site, you say, Mashable's favorite t-shirt, Mashable's softest, Mashable's softest t-shirt. Doesn't have to be Mashable, it could be something else that's smaller, but essentially you're bringing in that other person's endorsement saying that, your shirt is the best X, your shirt does the best Y. So think about how you can use that third-party validation that we talked about. Also, for this, it's it's something that everybody needs. So running a giveaway and focusing on a wardrobe giveaway or a makeover giveaway, something like that can work to build that top of the funnel. And the other thing is just getting user-generated content of like when they open the package and they feel the shirt, because that reaction of as soon as they feel that shirt and they're like, wow, this is super soft, that's the reaction you want to show in your ads so that people are like, oh, that's super interesting. I wonder how soft that is. I'm going to buy one. Same thing, having order value with packs.
Yeah, and one thing I said too, again, like get ready to be flattered regularly. You'll be so sick and tired of asking, like answering where you got this shirt. So I think stuff like that helps with like confidence and boosting all of that. That's a really good way to build that with clothing. Clothing is hard unless there's a big selling point. I'm not sure if that was the bamboo clothing, but if that's a selling point, push it. Why is it good? You're saving water, you're saving something with the sustainability factor of how you make it. So definitely recommend putting some of the benefits that are making it different. If there's no difference, push on like confidence and how it will look.
Okay, and so just going back to the page speed, so use the Google page speed tool, and you can see here how they rank the page speed, and this also affects your SEO ranking. So definitely take a look at this, and you can see how long it takes for your page to load. So, and this is what it looks like as it's loading. And so you can see here, just this one, like just loading all of your JavaScripts, which is kind of like all your plugins and iframes and widgets and all that sort of stuff, takes 6 seconds. So you can go through here and you can look at some different things that maybe might be taking a long time, like Yotpo takes a long time, Charter, Statistic, whatever that is, takes a long time, Twitter is taking a long time, Yotpo again, your Facebook a little bit, but not hugely. And then you've got off-screen images. Your images aren't too big. You want to try and keep your images kind of like under 100 kilobytes. But yeah, your images can definitely slow down as well. But yeah, this is a great tool to take a look at to see how long it's taking your page to load. And if you want to learn more, you can kind of like expand this, and it can tell you what each one of these things mean. So jump a slide in there, take a look at that. Okay, next one, bucketlistprints.com. Alrighty, very sleek. You can see here it's very prominent what the navigation is very prominent, which is great. Taking a look down here, you've got your shop now, which is great. I would make sure if you have feature images, make sure you're featuring your best products or your most attention-grabbing images. So for example, you saw the visor and you saw the lifestyle shots that they were using there. That was grabbing your attention and making you interested. So make sure that you're like grabbing people's attention with really interesting imagery in your banners, because that will get people to just keep scrolling. So as you look at these, like this one, for example, is much more like interesting because I can kind of see a room here. I can see what these look like. So that is much more interesting than this, for example. So yeah, just take a look at that and think about your hero images. Collections, this is great. I would highly suggest just targeting to target all these areas. So, people traveling to London, or people who are expats from London and live in other countries. Those sorts of people might want to buy London art. People who like hiking, people who like New Zealand. There's a lot of interest targeting you could do here. So yeah, I would definitely focus on that. In terms of your website, this is looking okay. Obviously, more lifestyle shots would be good, but I assume that these are only created once they're ordered, so print to order. And they still look good. So like these images look great. 25, you've got the size. I would also, on your homepage, try and add more trust indicators. So try and add reviews, money back guarantees, customer support contacts, also maybe places you've been featured.
Bundle deals.
Bundle deals, number of 5-star reviews, all that sort of stuff. Okay, next one, parents are human. See your parents in a whole new light. Okay, interesting. My parents and I need your help. Okay, so I need a way more direct value pitch here. A bilingual Korean card game designed to speak deep conversations between you and your family. So I really want to know exactly what this is as soon as this page loads. And I don't 100% get it from this intro. So I would think about your core value proposition and how you can put that in one sentence and put that in here. Like what's the end output? Like how are you helping someone? How is your product solving a problem? Like what problem are you solving? Is it that you can't have conversations with your parents? Is it that, they don't understand English and you need to help them to communicate better? What is the problem that they're having and how is your product the solution? Another thing is selling through personal story. So this possibly might be a personal story here, but you might want to talk about how you had that problem and how you created this brand to solve that problem. Storytelling sells really, really well. Jen, was there anything you wanted to add to this one?
No, I just think it needs to have a little bit more explanation, but also a video of people like going through this, kind of just sitting around a table. I know with COVID, it's a little hard to really go through it with to make content like that. But if it's with a family, I think just having something like that just to go through it, and yeah, having your proposition a little better, because I feel like see your parents in a whole new light, but it's having a bilingual connection. Like what is this for? Who is this for? and explaining a little bit better for that.
All right, and I think also a video of how it's done somewhere might be good. So under this buy now button, you might want to see like see a tutorial or see how to play, see how to use these cards, see a demo, whatever it may be, or see rules or see how to play. Something like that might also help. And then as people like learn how to do it, then you have that buy button there as soon as that clicks of like, okay, this is what it does. This is why I need it. Okay, let me go through a few more. Guys, let me know if you're still interested, if you want me to keep going through these, because I know we're coming up on like, 2 hours now. So let me know if you're still interested. And Jen, do we have all of these links?
I put a lot of them. There's a lot of coming through that are coming through, but there should be a lot in your Slack. I think you've missed a few. There's like Little Hurricane Co., the Tote Project, Levi, Live Pet Love. So there's a couple on there that I just sent.
Yep, I'm going through all those now.
Okay. Yep.
And then guys, if we don't get to you, shoot us an email and we can reply with just a quick video recording. All right, so this one here, okay, that's going there. Couple goals. All right. Weekly deal, free shirt when you buy a Maxim dress. Okay. All right, so I assume this is apparel. So I would try and
Matching outfits, yeah.
Okay, matching outfits. So I would possibly put that somewhere up front. Nothing says he's mine like matching fits. I suppose that's good actually. But I would make sure that's on all the pages. Because remember, think that most of the people coming to your website have never heard of your brand before. So think about what the experience is for someone coming to your brand who has never heard of you before. And think about, okay, how long does it take someone to understand what I'm trying to sell them and what problem I'm trying to solve for them? So the problem you might be solving here is, having good outfits with your partner or having your outfits be more interesting. What is that problem that you're trying to solve? For her, for him, his and hers. So this is really good. A lot of apparel brands should section out like this quickly with lifestyle images because you can straight away get the people into the category they are going to probably buy something from. Guys don't want to look through girls' clothing, and girls don't want to necessarily look through guys' clothing unless they're obviously buying it for their partner. Okay, African clothing, African prints, nice. And like one thing I really like about this site actually is how bright and colorful it is. It really grabs your attention. So the ads on this would really stand out on Instagram and Facebook. If you're looking at that shock factor, these are super vibrant colors that are going to stand out in that newsfeed. Okay. I don't know if you're trying to talk, Jen. You're on mute.
Sorry, your cyborg is awful. Anyways, I wanted to say that I think too, I'm not sure if it says it on there, it just doesn't seem very obvious, but when they're buying a his and hers or hers or his and his, I definitely think mentioning the bundle or the savings amount. So if you're buying these two products, you're saving $20. Getting that same outfit to match together would be, with the savings, would be really beneficial to push that more. And I think the accessories in here could be a really good upsell. So if you say like you bought this one, would you want to pay an extra $15 for the handkerchief or the tie or whichever? So having those upsells in there is a really great thing, but also don't forget for coupling to do bundling.
Yeah, great point. And the other thing here is having multiple shots per product is really good for apparel stores. You can see here a bunch of reviews. I think the main thing I would add is places you've been featured or like famous celebrities or influencers who've worn your content, worn your product, and really just kind of create the FOMO, or wanting people to buy your product because other people are buying it, or wanting people to buy the product because they see other people they're inspired by or interested in buying it. So that's one thing you could add to this, but overall it looks pretty good. And then again, just double check it on mobile. It looks pretty good on mobile, and just make sure the page load is good. And then, as Jen was saying, try and increase that average order value by bundling, getting people to spend over $200 or $100, whatever it may be. So your free shipping over 100, I would definitely bump that up. Like if your average order value is, let's say, 200, make the free shipping in at like $220 or $240, sorry. So yeah, really try and keep increasing that average order value. Okay, Astral Box. Okay, free shipping on US orders. Waiting to sign in, create an account. Join a box. Astral Box.
I have a feeling you have no idea what this is. So do you want me to go through a bit of this?
Yeah, sure.
This is obviously very targeted to people who are into astrology, zodiacs, all of that kind of stuff, tarot, crystals, everything. I think this is a really great, can you scroll up, please? Sorry. I think this is really great imagery. Join a box, that's great. I think curated box with care and all of that, that's good. But people like Jack, who I don't think is your target audience, unfortunately, I would say actually describe what's coming into the box, what you will receive. Receive 2-3 products of crystals or zodiac cards or tarot cards or something that goes in there that tells you exactly what you're getting when you get this box. So it's nice and all that you get joy, but what actually comes, what's the value if I subscribe now? Am I getting $75 worth for $25? Am I getting, something new every 2 months? I would make that little blurb there, like, that's great, that's joy, but make it more apparent what comes in it. Make sure that the value is right there. So what you're saving, what comes in it, how much you can expect when it comes over. But I love the design.
And so just going through this and taking a look at a few of the other elements on the site, really good reviews. I would wonder if this this homepage is a little bit long and affecting that page load. So this is a great one, like pulling in the Instagram and actually featuring people using the product and engaging with your product. Sale items. I wouldn't necessarily put the sale items on the homepage. You really want to try and do new arrivals, top products, most popular products, recommended products, that sort of thing. But this is really good here as well. Like really address the benefits of the product, not necessarily just the features. So
Join the magic too. Sorry for interrupting. Join the magic. I love that. Good vibes every month. That should be on that top of that banner. Sorry to interrupt. Passionate about good vibes.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of good feedback here. Like the value of this website is actually further down. So people are not getting the value till they scroll. So yeah, I would definitely, keep the shots here of the boxes and everything. Maybe clean them up a little bit so it's, much more focused on like what the actual product is. Well, I suppose it kind of is, but yeah, it's definitely got a lot more appeal once you get down to this section here. So yeah, definitely look at that. And then, okay, let's go through to the product page. Okay, extra boxes, 600 monthly, 3 times. Okay, great. You got those there. Let's get a monthly box. Okay, I would definitely utilize this space up here a lot more. So if you can, edit that product page and utilize this space up here a lot more so that you're actually putting more value in this, like places you've been featured, return policies, all those different things, cancel any time, that sort of stuff. Or you can also bring up any of this information. That's really going to help utilize your page better. Add to cart. Okay, continue shopping, go to cart. Okay, great. And anybody, if you're looking to test your pixels, download the Chrome browser extension, and it will tell you when the pixels are firing. So for example, on this page, it looks like only the page was firing, not the cart pixel. So you'd want to take a look at that unless it was firing on the button click. But that all looks pretty good. Okay, Live Pet Love. All right, so now this is a massive waste of space. this is the most important area of your site, and half of it is going to your logo. So, you know, it's a good idea to kind of like shrink this down or put it to the side and really get straight into the value proposition you have, and what your product is and what you can do for that potential customer. You know, it's definitely good to show your brand, but they don't necessarily care about this. What they care about is what problem are you solving for them? How are you going to add value to their life? How are you going to make their life easier, cheaper, more effective? Essentially, what is the positive impact your product or brand is going to have on them? They don't necessarily care too much about the logo and the brand. So if you were to like put it up to the side and start straight here, have your value proposition on this, have the sort of the add to cart or shop now or see popular products straight in there, you'd probably really be focusing your ad dollars and your marketing spend on more effectively. The other thing is you might want to have a little bit more of what it actually is, a healthy, sustainable lifestyle for your loving pet. So what does that mean? Is that, you know, I need to know what you're selling before I even scroll. Because the problem is you only have a few seconds with someone to look at your site and be like, do I want to scroll down or not? Yes or no? Because you're going to lose 80% of your customers by like 80% of your traffic by like here.
Yeah.
Jen, were you going to say something?
Sorry. Yeah, of course. This is my forte. We already introduced the puppies to everyone watching, so I appreciate everyone so giving us a little bit of happiness and a break from everything. But few things here. One, the backgrounds on the products are a little off. So see how one is beige and one is white. I feel like the consistency, otherwise it kind of feels a little off. Either keep all the beige or keep all the white. And then I do think that if you scroll up, Jack, sorry, the white space is, right there. The white space right there is a lot because you obviously waste a lot of that space. But I think healthy, sustainable lifestyle is for your pet is a good caption or a starting point. But is a sustainable lifestyle, what kind of lifestyle is that? Is that food? Is that the products that they use? Jack, if you don't mind clicking on shop in the drop down. Thank you. So it's treats, accessories, and toys. So, and yeah, scroll, yeah. Click on accessories, for example. So, okay, scroll down. So at this point, it feels really empty. Either we make the products a little bigger or we short. Can you actually click on one of the products? Thank you. I want to see more dogs. As someone who loves dogs and I'm buying something for my dog, I want to see this on a small dog. I want to see this on a big dog. I want to see this look on a dog. So you kind of feel how it looks like and how long it is, how tight it will be or whichever. If you can, that would be the best thing for this because you're talking about your pet. I saw a pet on the front. I want more pets. I want more dogs. If you're talking about dogs, if you're telling me I love dogs, I want more dogs. Always. Did I tell you I love dogs?
All right, enough dog love right now.
No, I'm just saying like it just needs to show more interactions with the dogs because it doesn't feel like there's much for dogs.
On the homepage, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Look at all these
but it
dogs.
doesn't tell you. Yeah, I know. But it doesn't really tell you much about the product.
What I would say is also on these, I'd maybe possibly call out the product in each of these photos. So if it's like leashes, if it's jackets, if it's bowls, whatever that is, like maybe shop bowls, shop leashes, shop whatever. So you're kind of directing people to what they want. Okay, so we're going to do these next ones and then we'll wrap it up. Make sure to send in email if we missed you, and we can get back to that because I know we're kind of coming up on over 2 hours. So I know you guys have things to do. So let's go through this. Menace, I love the branding here. Shop look, okay, nice. Oh, this is really interesting. Okay. All right, so this is, okay, so this can go either way with these sites. So some brands are just like really interesting. They have weird websites. We have a few clients like this that are like on the upper end in terms of pricing for apparel, and they're just creating really unique experiences. It's not the normal site. So for example, it's a good idea to kind of like test this, see what your conversion rates are, see how you go, and then if not, then maybe swap back to something that's more more standard practice that people are used to shopping in and people are used to buying from. So this is really interesting. All I would say is, make sure that your creative is really good when you have a site like this. This is kind of like the supreme model. Okay, nice. All right. Okay, so in terms of here, now I know this is really playing on the kind of like the curiosity of everything and the branding and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I would definitely try and work with influencers on this brand. I think the main value add for these apparel brands and what we do with some of our clients is really focus on the new drops. So every lookbook, make sure that you are running a lot of ads to get people in the door and discovering your brand every time you do a new drop or a new lookbook. Really focus on email. So with these sites like this, you've really got to focus on email and SMS so that when that new drop comes out, that anticipation for the drop and the hype for that drop really comes into play. Because this type of site, you're really focusing on passionate people who are interested in the branding. It's not just kind of like the random person just discovering this and being like, oh, I like that shirt, I'm going to buy that. But Jen, I know you work with a lot more of these apparel brands than me. So is there anything you'd want to add to this and how we can, help Menace scale more?
Yeah, I actually think that it's a really cool site. I personally would have a lookbook option. I think this one actually. Yeah. So when you click on the lookbook, what happens? That's what
lookbook preview video.
So what I'm thinking when I say lookbook is that everything that you have in your lookbook or anything that's worn in your Instagram, you have a thing that says shop this look. So this is cool, but where can I shop this? I want this outfit. Where do I get this? So there are some apps on Shopify that you can that links to it. So it has a little hover, and then when you click onto it, it's like this is what this hoodie is paired with these sweatpants. So I definitely would have the lookbook more interactive to be like that shop page. Oh, the dogs are out. And then yes, if there are products in this video, I would add them to the bottom of the feed.
Yeah, and the other thing that works really, really well with these brands is having dynamic product ads so that you are updating your products that are showing on Facebook as you add and remove new products, and products go in and out of stock. So you want to create dynamic product ads, make a product set that has in stock only, and then so that way you can really just show the products in the news feed, and that works really, really well for remarketing with apparel brands. But again, really focusing on the drops, really focusing on collecting their emails and the SMS, and doing some interesting giveaways around unique experiences. When you've got a brand like this, you really want to focus on the unique experience, not necessarily just giving away product. So unique experiences could be meet and greets or hangs with certain celebrities. It could be flying you out to LA and having a day in LA sort of thing. You really want to kind of have these above and beyond sort of experiences. There's one brand we work with, it's giving away Tesla cars and stuff like that to grow their awareness and their brand. And so thinking about how you can maybe just get more awareness and more hype around the brand, because it's not necessarily a scenario where someone's going to see an ad and be like, I like that shirt, I'm going to go buy it. This is more around the branding. Okay, simple hair color, nice. All right, what men are saying about this hairstyle. Okay, so this is what we kind of mean by the user-generated content. So you can just get a bunch of these and put them all together in a reel. What I would add is possibly captions. People might be watching this with the sound off. So definitely looking at adding in captions on this, having buy now buttons along the bottom, or having calling out how many star ratings you have, how many reviews you have, that sort of stuff. But this is all really, really good. Actually, it looks like you have, you do have the captions, which is really good. So what I would do is I would diversify my ads a little bit more too. So for example, on this one, you've got this one video that you're running, run some image ads, run some more bottom of the funnel ads. So this is a good top and middle of the funnel ad. You're showing something of interest. You're educating, you're entertaining. So even making this a little bit funny. So if you have some super awkward or super funny customer reviews or user-generated content. That sort of stuff can be really interesting in getting people's attention. Like one example that is great is I think it was Petco or someone who had this dog toy that looked very provocative, and they lent into that. It obviously looked like something it wasn't supposed to look like, and they lent into that by making funny reviews of all the comments that they had on it, and they really lent into the humor side of it, which generated a huge amount of publicity, brought in a ton of interest and engagement for their brand, which they then converted probably later on to customers. So don't be afraid to create some funny content, but then make sure at the top of this is your top of the funnel, make sure you've got sales ad at the bottom of the funnel. So being like, hey, this is why we're better. This is our pricing. This is a bundle pack. Only 100 left this month. Or, hey, we're increasing pricing. Add that scarcity, add that sales message at the bottom of the funnel, and you'll convert more. Jen, another dog one if you want to take this. Oh, no, it's the same one.
I was going to say I love dogs, but...
Okay, Stella 79. All right. So now a jury is always a hard one to photograph, I feel. It's always tough. But what I would really do is I would try and focus on getting photographs of like a kind of like a portrait mode, so you know how the backgrounds are kind of like blurred a little bit, and it's super highly focused on the actual jewelry. That sort of photography can really draw people's attention to the product. Whereas when all of it is in focus, it's a little bit harder to get. And also you want to make sure that you don't have any of these grainy photos at the top, because with jewelry, you really need to show that you're super high quality, that it's like, above and beyond in terms of quality, because that's where a lot of the value is in jewelry, I think. But this is really good. These lifestyle shots are fantastic. We've got rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings. Okay, so this is a great example of where they've been seen. This is, if anybody's hasn't added this to their website, definitely add this to their website, because it increases your validation. As soon as you see this, you're like, wow, all of these places have featured this brand. Okay, this must be legitimate. This must be good. And then down here, Instagram feed is good as well. But yeah, all up, it's really just this top section that I would improve on. Like the bottom section of this site is actually better than the top section. Even if you were just to like put this up and make these 6 squares at the top, I think that would be an interesting experiment to run and see if you were going to get a better conversion rate on that. Jen, is there anything you want to add to this?
No, like you mentioned, it's really hard to photograph, but I definitely think it's a really good way to bundle. So matching sets of earrings and bracelets, necklace and bracelets is a really good way to upsell. Also, how to pair. So going on a night out, style tips on how to wear them is also really helpful. But I do like how the website is set up and that you are featured. So in your ads, just be like Marie, Claire, whichever it was, I don't remember what I saw, says these are the #1 staple in XYZ. So definitely push that. Those features are going to be your best bet.
Yeah, and the other thing is just remembering on like how you use this top of the page. So is this needed? Can you put this somewhere else to get the products focused as soon as the page loads? So what you can do here is, you can look at rearranging that a little bit. I would also run all of your ads to the product pages. Your product pages are really nice in terms of like showing these lifestyle shots along with product shots. These product shots are like look really good too, much better than the first impression that you get when you go to the home page. So definitely do that. Let's take a look at the product page quickly. Okay, so we have this. We've got some nice. Okay, so this is a great example of utilizing the top of the page. So everything is in reach here. So I've got my navigation, I've got my pricing, I've got my description, I've got some interesting facts about the product. So this is a great product page if people are wondering what a good product page looks like. Now, definitely adding some reviews and stuff would be good. I would also add in the places you've been featured here, and I would also look at adding in the money back guarantees or any of that sort of stuff, so that you can build that trust with your customers that, if they don't like the jewelry, they can easily return it, or there's, a bunch of options in how they do that. So, great site, and those are a few things I would do. All right, let's take a look at this one. Okay, browse with butter. Okay, so straight up, like under here, maybe just say what the product or the brand is. I know you've got probably your collections coming up here. Shop now with the hair, whipped butters. So these are all your products, but just say like what you sell. I don't know, health and beauty starts here. I suppose that's fine. Other products, Bob. Okay. Again, if you have affiliates and partners or referrals, put that down the bottom. You really want to focus on sales when people come to your site. You don't want to distract people and being like, oh, I wonder if I can be an affiliate and get free products. So put all your products and partners and all that sort of stuff down the bottom. Let's go through a few of these. Okay, with butters, organic skincare. Now, the other thing is, not everybody knows what with butters are. Skin cream, you also might need to do a little bit of education on. So maybe adding in a little bit of information about that. This is a great one, most popular. However, I want to see the product in its case, out of its case, getting applied, what the texture is, what it looks like, what the color is. I want to see all that stuff. So adding multiple images for all of these. Learn more. I wouldn't always necessarily add the blog to the homepage. Again, you want to keep people focused on the shop side of things. So definitely look at that as utilizing that space for something else. So, you know, where you've been featured, reviews, all that sort of stuff. Here, again, just add more product images, you know, texture, color, application, all that sort of stuff I want to see. Reviews are great, fantastic on that. And then, yeah, just double check all your copywriting on your products and all that sort of stuff. Pricing is good. Now, you do have a low price point, so looking at using like a recharge, which is an app for Shopify, looking at using some sort of recurring subscription is something that you would definitely want to look at for like skincare products or anything that you kind of like consume. You want to get people to sign up to like monthly, quarterly, or annual deliveries. So figure out how long it takes someone to go through that product and then try and set up recurring subscriptions for that. All right, so that was the last one.
Sorry, Jack. There's one more that's been asking, and I sent it to you, the little hurricane code. That's the last one.
Okay, and then, yeah, anybody we missed, just shoot us an email and we will get to it.
Sorry, guys.
Because I'm starting to lose my voice.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to dip out for a sec. I had to deal with puppies.
Okay, little hurricane here. All right, so similar to what we're talking about, utilize that top of the page a little bit better. Australian native flowers. Okay, nature-inspired jewelry. So this is a good example of like saying exactly what you do. Now, showcase natural florals. Okay, so this is a good value proposition. What I would do is, you know, again, focusing on the photos for jewelry is always a big one, and making this work on mobile as well. Let's take a quick look. So yeah, this is very small. It's hard to see on mobile. These are also very small. You want to make sure these are kind of like 100% width. So yeah, I would say if you're struggling with getting your ads to convert, it might just be because of the mobile display. Like you can see these are much easier to see on mobile because they're full width versus these ones. They're your collections. Australian wildlife jewelry. Okay. Quick shop. Okay, 680. All right. Again, I add like a banner here to say, you know, free shipping on X amount spent, or free shipping when you buy over X amount of dollars or X amount of products. Okay, so this is actually going to be more interesting. Oh, sorry, you go, Jen.
Sorry, I was going to say, if these are all handmade, show it and make sure that that's the benefit at the top, because I think it looks like it's resin art, which I think is actually really awesome, and I watch it on TikTok all the time. But I think having it as showing the behind the scenes, how you make it, like these unfolding, these are like ASMR for some people. So I definitely think having this as like your copy, your creative, like all of this right here, this is your selling point.
Yeah, so up here, I would make this banner. I would say shop, see how it's, or have two buttons, one for shop, one for see how it's made. See how it made, goes down to your video, and that shows that story behind the selling. Because with jewelry, there's so many people trying to sell jewelry. You really got to have a story and something behind the product so that you can actually, do a little bit more than just sell based off looks and price. You want to build that story, build that interest around your product, and really focus on that. But all right, guys, I'm gonna have to go and attend to this puppy. But all right, definitely send us an email if you have any follow-up questions. You've got Jack at Top Growth Marketing or Jen at Top Growth Marketing. We'll send out the slides so you can get all of these assets and extra sheets that we put in here, so you can get the all of the calculators we have. You can get all of the examples and the checklists that we have, all that sort of stuff. Check out Top Growth Marketing's blog. We publish like stuff about, like adding the server-side tracking or best creative tips, all those sorts of things. So check out all that and let us know if you have any follow-up questions. We'll also be in the Growth Labs Facebook group. So feel free to tag us in there. Just tag Jack and I'll answer any questions in there. So guys, thank you so much for your time today. I know it's like almost 2.5 hours, and have a fantastic rest of the day, and we hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, and thank you for dealing with me and the puppies.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you.